Aloha, Shark fans. Welcome back to Shark Weekly, your inside look at Hawaii Pacific University athletics. Right here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760. We're live from HPU Esports Arena at Aloha Tower Marketplace, powered by DSE Hawaii. And today it's a little special. I don't mean regular game day special, I mean history-making special. Because this past week, acrobatics and tumbling officially became the 93rd NCAA Championship sport. This is years of work and passion, advocacy finally paying off, and it's a massive moment for women's sports across the country. It hits a little different when you know HPU has been part of this from the start. We're one of the first schools to sponsor the sport. We backed it before it was cool and before the spotlight, before the NCAA stamp. And now these athletes get to say they were here for the moment it became championship bound. And speaking of people who have been here since the beginning, we've got head coach Daisha Paulino, who has lived this journey as an athlete, assistant, and now head coach of the program. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you.
And before we get started, I just wanted to welcome our in-studio producer, Paul. How are you doing today, Paul?
I'm doing well. Excited about this one today. Like you said, a historic couple of weeks here recently, and now we get to hear directly from the people it impacts most, and it's our second time chatting with them here relatively recently, so putting them more and more in the spotlight has been pretty fun, so excited for today.
Yeah, it's definitely a big turning point for them. And our two athletes we have joining with us today, Bree Corral-Vargas and Hayley Meville. We got Bree, three-time NCAA Academic Honor Roll, 2025 MVP, and you also did gymnast, cheerleading background, and you also have an NIL that is very unique to just 21 athletes. And Hayley from Calgary, a former gymnast herself, NCAA Freshman of the Week, and four-time honor roll student. So, Coach, what did this week mean to you?
That's a big one. It means everything.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we do. This is why we do it. Like, these athletes are our why. Coming in as a fresh 18-year-old kid, not even knowing the sport, to the point now where we are 10 years later. It's the culmination of years and years and years of dreaming and believing and hard work. And honestly, it's just an investment for all the future women in sports.
Yeah, and you've been here since the beginning. Can you talk a little bit about going from an athlete and then assistant coach and then now head coach, and like kind of what was going through your mind as an athlete? Did you always know you wanted to coach?
Yeah, so funny, the origin story is a little crazy. Obviously, from here, local gymnast. Sometimes you are good at something and you don't necessarily want to keep doing that something. For me, that was gymnastics. I did it because I was good at it, not because I loved it, unfortunately. But going into and out of my senior year of high school, I had been told by my coaches, who actually were former HPU cheerleaders, shout out to them, that there was just this new program and all I had to do was tumble. There was no explanation, didn't know what the sport was called. They just said, hey, go to HPU and tumble. And I said, cool, let's do it. So that's how I started. That's how I got into the team and did no research, and just kind of stuck with it. But I think after my first semester as a freshman here, which was in 2014, I had seen what my coaches were doing and the impact they were making on my life. And I just had decided back then to switch my major to something more appropriate for coaching and just follow that path moving forward.
Well, and you said you're good at it. Did you find the love again after gymnastics for acro? Because you got some major accolades, right? Mm-hmm. That we won't go into.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, I would say it's acrobatics and tumbling is a sport for people like us who did gymnastics or cheerleading and, I mean, could have loved it. Or they were just looking to use skill sets in a different way. So this was really just the way we found a passion for something we were good at, we invested our whole lives in, and it just is a different way to show it. So absolutely.
Yeah, and can we talk a little bit about how the first sport, you were there since the beginning. Mm-hmm. Can we talk a little bit about how that looked compared to now, today?
Oh, definitely. So I was a part of the second year team. So my senior year of high school was when the team first came as the inaugural year. But I did participate under Coach Keenan Wan, who was the very first head coach here. It was different. No one really knew what we were doing. There was a little bit of an idea of, hey, we're flipping, we're throwing. It's kind of like gymnastics, it's kind of like cheer. But at that point, the sport was in a place where everyone was kind of like an innovator. We spent a lot of time creating new skills. A lot of the skills you see currently, like in our compulsories, our pyramids and things, literally came from us just having fun and messing around at practice. No one thought that 10 years later we would be doing those things and everyone around the nation would be doing those same skills. But yeah, back then it was a lot of creativity, a lot of innovation, and now there's a little more structure and expectation. I mean, they know, like, we have a plan, there's science behind it, there's data behind it, and we didn't have that stuff back then.
Yeah, and then let's go to you and Bree and Hayley. Let's talk a little bit about how this felt for you guys. You guys are now seniors, starting as freshmen, and now seniors getting this announcement. How do you guys feel, like, kind of being part of the pavement for this as well?
I think it was really exciting for me, especially for our underclassmen, because we are really setting the example right now, I feel, and being able to know that their passion and the way that they're pursuing this sport is all worth it now. Not that it wasn't worth it before, but just to be official and recognized feels really good for the people who built it.
What about for you, Hayley?
It feels really good, but it's like I wish I was going to be here next year to be fully a part of it kind of thing, but it is really amazing for our underclassmen to experience that as well.
Yeah. And then you guys both come from gymnast and cheerleading backgrounds. So can you, Coach talked a little bit about how she went into acro. Can you guys talk about your guys' decision about going into acrobatics instead of gymnastics or cheerleading?
Yeah. So I had a very similar experience as Coach did. I did gymnastics for most of my life. I don't know how many years, but I stopped I think I was in grade 10, and then I switched to cheerleading for 4 years. And cheerleading was great. It was kind of a good stepping stone into acro because stunting and all that, it's not necessarily similar, but you kind of get the same movements, the same competition. You're going from an individual sport, which is gymnastics, and then going to a team sport, which is cheerleading, and then acro as well.
What about for you, Bree?
Similar to Hayley, I did gymnastics for most of my life. And then, like Coach, I think I stuck with it because I was good at it, but I didn't love it. And then once 2020 rolled around and COVID rolled around, I took it as an opportunity to step away. And that's when I kind of found acrobatics and tumbling. And I knew that taking a step to cheer would help give me that foundation to be successful in acro. And I think that was the right move.
Love it. And then, Coach, for you, what do you think this recognition, now being the 93rd NCAA program championship, what does it mean to younger girls?
I think it gives them a future to look towards. I mean, we have people here, obviously, people have been putting their faith in us and our program and in the vision that we as participating members of the sport have had for the last decade. But it's giving these future kids like the legitimacy, the recognition, and the support that every other sport gets. So the likes of volleyball, basketball, softball, the fact that we can walk in there with that same NCAA stamp and say like, hey, we are just as legit, we are just as supportive, we are just as valid and like just as recognized as them, I think will give kids in the future a lot more to look towards.
And you guys definitely deserve it.
Thank you.
We're going to take our first break. But Shark fans, if you got any questions for Coach or the team, please text them in at 808-888-5481. When we come back, we're getting into personal journeys, where they came from, and why they chose HPU. But before we go, Hawaii Pacific University Athletics is sponsored by DSE Hawaii. At DSE Hawaii, formerly DC Hero Electric Inc., we are dedicated to consistently providing work in the most efficient manner. With over 3 decades of experience and expertise in the electric industry under our belt, we have worked tirelessly to ensure that our performance represents our company mission, providing customer value. We'll be right back after the break.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network's 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Sharks Weekly, live from HPU Esports Arena at Aloha Tower Marketplace, powered by DSE Hawaii. We're here with Coach Daisha, Bree, and Hayley, and now we're diving into their stories. So Bree, you've been a standout in almost every way, academically, athletically, leadership, and your NIL deal. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how you came across that and what it means to you and what it kind of represents?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been a type 1 diabetic for 13 years. This last January, it marked 13 years. And I've been wearing a continuous glucose monitor called Dexcom, and it reads my blood sugar so that I have access to it when I'm on the mat or when I'm in classes, and I can just check my phone, check my blood sugar out. And I noticed my freshman year that they introduced a NIL deal called Dexcom U, where they empower college athletes to show that this is possible, pursuing college athletics with type 1 diabetes. And I didn't know really how to get my foot in the door for the first couple of years. And then this past August, going into my senior year, they posted that they were doing open call. So anybody could submit any athletes that they knew with type 1 that would be a good fit for the program. And you could also submit your own application. So I let my team know, like, hey guys, if you wouldn't mind like submitting a snippet on why you think I'd be a good fit, I'd really appreciate it. And there were over 200 applicants and 13 athletes returned, and there were 8 new ones. So I was one of the 8 selected for this year. And that honestly just meant a lot to me, not only as an athlete, but especially in the sports of acrobatics and tumbling, to really get our name on that big stage.
Being a woman, having type 1 diabetes, and being in acrobatics, right? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then we were talking a little bit during the break about how the differences between gymnastics and acro. Can we go a little bit more into that, and like just for people that don't understand gymnasts and acro?
Absolutely. So growing up in gymnastics, it's a very individual sport. Like Coach Daisha mentioned, we train as a team and we practice as a team. But once we get to that competition mat, all of our scores count towards our individual scores. And once we move to acrobatics and tumbling, it's a full team atmosphere. You need every single player on that mat to support each other and to hold each other up, because you never know when you're going to get called out to participate or be in that stack.
Yeah, and is that something that made you pick acro, is more of the team environment than the individual?
Yeah, absolutely. After my switch from gymnastics to cheerleading, I realized that I really love the team atmosphere, and it's somewhere where I really thrive. And so I think acrobatics and tumbling was the perfect fit for that.
Yeah, I love that. And then Hayley, you coming from Canada, right? What made you pick HPU, new country, new sport, kind of like deer in headlights kind of moment for you, right?
Yes, it definitely was. So back in Canada, we don't really care about sports the way that America does. So we don't really do sports in university at a collegiate level. Nothing like cheerleading or gymnastics. You know, we have the basketball, volleyball kind of thing, but nothing like what we do. And one of the big reasons I chose HPU was because of Hawaii and the culture here. I'm part of the social work program, and they've just been amazing. And I've been learning so much of the Hawaiian culture here. And it's really eye-opening to see someone else's culture that isn't just Canada.
When you mean social work, can you give us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I'm in the Bachelor's of Social Work program. And we do a lot of hands-on work. So this past semester, we were working with Papakalea. And we would volunteer over at the homestead, and work with the community there.
Wow, so you really got to see Hawaii's all around, the beauty and the
not so good parts, but I think it's great still.
And then Coach, these two athletes, very different, right? What would be one word that you would describe both of them?
That's a good one. You got me
Is that
there.
a hard question? I'm
It's a
sorry.
little bit of a hard question. I feel like a lot of things to describe them. I'd say, like, as a whole, every athlete is very different, obviously, mindset, skill set. Both Bree and Hayley contribute to our team in every single possible way as a top base and tumbler. So I'd say as a whole, like, obviously, again, different people, different personalities, but both can be represented just by the word versatility. Like, these are the representatives of what acrobatics and tumbling is meant for. They're the mix of gymnastics and cheer. They hit every position. They are leaders on and off the mat. And they do everything. They're just there. They're great.
Well, and then so like for most schools, last year when those two schools came in, they had like 50 girls, right? I feel like your team, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of your, like you said, versatile. Is that like a common thing that you try to recruit these girls that are versatile, or do you try to recruit just position wise, or?
Yeah. So great question. needs evolve over time depending on the people you have on a team. I've experienced teams where every single person is what we call a specialty athlete, where they only give a little bit of something. But then you run into the problem of when you get, especially to that team event, where you have a limit of how many people can be on the mat, and not everyone can do all the things you need. So as my time has evolved as a coach and experience has evolved, we've learned that the most efficient way to have a successful program, and one that could honestly perform outright faster than most, would be to recruit heavily into people that can be more versatile. You want people that can do the acrobatics things as a top or a tumbler in that position, or a top and base, sorry, and then also tumble. There's a lot of very intricate things within our sport as far as requirements and rules, and you can do this, but then you can't do this. Being as versatile as possible is the best way to honestly help provide for your team, but also get yourself on the mat quicker.
Yeah, and then Anyway, pre-meet rituals. Do you guys have any? Coach, this one's for you too as well, if you had any. If you guys do a team thing, is it an individual thing? Is it putting on, I don't know, one sock before the other?
I'd say every morning before we compete, I need a grande iced brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso with vanilla sweet cream and 4 shots of blonde espresso from Starbucks. And I'll usually take that walk with one of my teammates just to clear my head. And that's always a good way to start my day. But once we get to the meet site, I'm usually a pretty reserved person because I kind of need that energy and that focus until fun music starts playing, and then I have to dance it all out.
That was very specific.
Can you tell she works at Starbucks?
Oh, that
There
makes
it
sense.
is.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
What about for you, Hayley?
For me, I don't really particularly have any rituals, but I do like to be like hyped in the locker room. I like to listen to music. I like to dance. I like to be silly. Just kind of not take it too seriously, or else I'll get too nervous. But
Yeah. And what about for you, Coach? Do you have any big... I can't even say what she said. Do you have any special coffee orders, I guess? Or, I don't know.
As a coach, not really. I mean, I've gotten the same coffee for the last 10 years of my life every single day, not going to lie. But yeah, being in this position is just a lot different. I mean, there's so many things that I'm doing constantly throughout the day to make sure they're prepared that is what it is. As an athlete, that's a different story.
What was that?
I was the chill person. No hype, no music, no dancing, no nothing. No anxiety either, no nervousness. I just needed to be in a corner and just sit and chill. Please don't talk to me. Please don't look at me. Let me just do my job. And we've grown a lot since then. So.
Sounds like a starting pitcher on starting day. Don't talk to me.
Yep.
Both of the players mentioned music and kind of getting hyped up a little bit, having the energy, being silly. So I am a little curious, what is the go-to game day music? Is there, is it more so silly? Is it more so serious? Is it hyped up silly? Like what are we trying to listen to? Give me a top song, top 3 if you can't decide on one.
It really depends. I've had the privilege of being aux for a few meet days last year, and it's a lot of pressure, I won't lie to you. So I feel like getting the general consensus of the team of what we're feeling. But I'd say one non-negotiable is I Just Want to Rock by Lil Uzi Vert, and our Hayley here performs a dance, and it gets us ready in the zone, and it's so much fun.
We're going to have to see that on social media.
Yeah.
We'll make sure
It's been on. But yeah, that's a big one. I think it's just important to get the team like excited to compete, My new favorite song right now is Do It Like Me by D-Lo. I think that would be a good one too, to hype up the team. But yeah.
It's pretty good. Coach, I know you said you weren't in your playing days as much a music person, but you also said you've changed a little bit. Do you have something that you like to listen to at all, or is it still something where don't talk to me?
I think nowadays it's whatever they need. So when we're in the locker room, and they said it's like it gets the team excited. Whatever vibe that is for them, like I let them be. Just let them enjoy it, let them dance, let them be happy. And it's a good team bonding moment too. Like they learn a lot about each other when they see each other and they get comfortable like that. So I'm just there to embrace the chaos, whatever it might be.
I guess one last question on the music front, and then I can kick it back to you, Baylei. How much say do the freshmen get? How much say do the underclassmen get? Because you said you want to get the consensus of the team, but also there's there's a level of paying your dues, of course. So how much say do they get on the pregame aux and the playlist, and is it any, I guess?
I think that just sparked a realization in my head that we haven't really talked about that for game day yet. But with our team being split pretty much half and half upperclassmen, half and half returners, I think that's something that we'll definitely have to figure out. But I think our freshmen bring such a great energy and they love to dance. They love to bring the hype. So I think it won't really be a problem getting them on board this year.
Love that. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but before we go, Hawaii Pacific University Athletics is sponsored by Volunteer Ally, because every volunteer needs an ally. We'll be right back after the commercial break.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Networks, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
All right, Sharks fans, welcome back. We're still here with Coach Daisha, Bree, and Hayley, and now we're getting into something every acro athlete knows, the mental game. So, Coach, can you talk a little bit about, it's such a demanding sport. It moves so fast with fast speeds and high risks, right? What's something that the fans don't see about the mental side of acro?
I'd say a couple things. First of all, they don't see the years and years and years of hard work and mental preparation that these athletes go through even before they step foot at HPU. Like we've talked a lot about the backgrounds and stuff like that, but most of these athletes come in from backgrounds where you start your sport at 18 months old, 20 months old, like you're not even 2 years old flipping. So it really is like, it's a culmination of everything that they've been doing for the however long it is. And secondly, it's I don't even know how to say it. It's like, it's a lot of work. Like they are here at the Shark Tank at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, getting ready for a 6 a.m. practice every single day of the week. So it's like they are putting themselves through the most challenging and difficult things every single day before they even hit school, before they even hit work. So it just, they go through a lot and they prepare and like they work really, really, really hard just to be able to put those things on the mat.
Yeah, and then let's talk a little bit about confidence, because they gotta be a little cocky, right? Just a little bit. How do you like kind of find that fine line between cockiness, confidence, and then maybe those that lack confidence, and how do you coach that?
So funny you bring that up. That's actually exactly what we were talking about at practice this morning, an hour ago. That's something we're still working on. I think some of it is internal, like some things like as people and as athletes, like you come in with that sort of like confidence and cockiness. We do try our best to create situations and scenarios where we say that you will get confidence and consistency through reps. So like to be able to do the work and do it so many times where your brain and your body and your mind are so in tune that you know it's going to hit every single time. That's one way we kind of try to build into that. But yeah, we talk about it. We acknowledge it. We have these discussions, and I was right in front of them this morning saying, hey, like we need a balance between the line of cocky and confidence. And we want you to be cocky a little bit. Like you have to have a little bit of cockiness, like you said, to be confident. And we're hoping that they find it. But I think going through that first meet, because our team is so young, and seeing what it's like to be on that side and to compete will help them to kind of see the vision a little better soon.
Well, and you do a lot of mental work with them, right? As well.
We try.
Can you talk a little bit about that and what that takes a lot of preparation from you as well.
Yeah.
So what you're trying to maybe instill in them, and I feel like it's not just acrobatics and tumbling. Like you talk about reps and stuff like that, but it's not like if they're not getting reps in acro and then reps in real life, right? So can you talk a little bit? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like everything, it's all the same. Our philosophy as coaches is we're building good humans, we're building better humans. Like we want them to leave campus in 4 years and be the best version of themselves, and that the same goes for practice. And I think, every so often we're able to do a little bit of something where we do some kind of team building, team bonding. We put a lot of it on them as well as, like, say, leaders and upperclassmen to tie their team together, to bring them to the side, to talk to them, have those conversations as peers. Obviously, we have myself and Coach Payton on the side too, like when we see things and we need to acknowledge those things, like to talk about it. So I think right now, like, it's really just an ongoing conversation. Like every single day, there's a rep and there's something that happens and there's a lesson to learn from it, and just being transparent and open about what that means, and how we can move forward and apply that to future reps and just decisions is really important.
Yeah. And then Coach talks a lot about you guys taking leadership. So how do you guys get that trust from your teammates? You guys are flipping each other, right? You guys are literally in the air, and it takes somewhat of a trust factor at a certain point, right? So how do you guys cultivate that as leaders and seniors?
For sure. Something I think that we did as seniors this year that really impacted the way that we view the trust that we have on the team is a speech called Hold the Rope. And it's a football coach giving a motivational speech to his team where they're all holding the same rope. And it's basically, if your teammate is falling, are you going to be the one strong enough to pull them up, like when they're struggling? So holding the rope is a big thing for us. Like when we're obviously holding each other literally in the air, just knowing that, hey, I got you, and having that like internal communication has been a huge thing for us.
Yeah.
Also, just I would say, I don't know how to describe it, but just like just following what Bree was saying. Like, these skills are really scary to try at first, but I think if an underclassman sees maybe an upperclassman trying these skills and looking how they're doing it, they can kind of copy paste, and I don't know.
And then I guess when you guys are like, when obviously you got to practice to make it perfect, right? And it's not always going to be perfect. Well, how do you guys reset? Maybe it's like retying your shoelace, or I don't know. For me, when I played, it was having a rubber band and just flicking myself with it. But what do you guys do to reset and to get back on the mat and try it again?
Deep breaths always. Like, whole group, we hold hands, big deep breath, and then it's like reset. And sometimes I'll need a teammate to like literally just like hit me on the shoulder and be like, do it right now, like just get it done. And that is what like resets me.
And then also finding your people to go and talk to and get you hyped up again. Like, I know my bass Giselle, she always knows what to say to me and knows what to say when something's not working, or we calm each other down and just try it again.
Yeah, because definitely a team sport, big team sport, right? And being able to hold each other up. So what is one thing that you guys wish people knew more about the toughness of this sport? Coach talked about literally starting from 8 months and then having to work your way up and all the work. So what is something besides all the work, the toughness and the mental, that you wish people knew about this sport?
I think the mental toughness of starting an entirely new sport, it's really hard when you're super good at something that most people get recruited for to repeat in college. But to get recruited for something that you're good at to do something entirely different is really tough on the mind. And so being okay with failing and resetting and trying things again is a big stepping stone.
Yeah, like Bree said, it's okay to fail. It's okay not to be perfect. It's hard sometimes because coming from gymnastics and cheerleading background, like that is the goal, is to be perfect, but some things don't always work. And it is tough getting into acro first because it's a whole different sport. No one else has really done acro before they've come to university. So,
yeah. And then, Coach, is there any skills that are like a little bit more? I feel like your team is very athletic, first of all, and they're very willing. I guess, is there any skills that maybe they're scared of, or like that you're scared of teaching them sometimes, that maybe they won't be able to get it in time for the meet?
I'd honestly, no, I would say that's not really the case, luckily, because with acro, we have the freedom, the flexibility to cater to the skill set and the strengths of the team.
Mm-hmm.
So if our team is really strong in, say, handstands, we can incorporate handstands more into our program so that they are able to be the most successful versions of themselves. If they're not so great at handstands, then we would avoid them at all costs. So there's ways to make sure that they're hitting their requirements and they're able to perform on game day. Obviously, dream world, we're starting out of a perfect 10 every single time. That isn't always the case, but if we do our jobs correctly, they should be able to progress throughout the season to get to that point by the end of the year. And as far as skills afraid to teach, like Hayley said it best, is you have to learn to love to fail. We talk like it's okay to be scared. It's okay to have fear, but coming into the sport, you know what you signed up for, and we will do our best to teach people properly, correctly, safely, to do whatever it is that they want to do. Nothing's really scary if you just let yourself try it.
And do you feel like you have a lot of athletes that are very open-minded? You seem very open-minded. So
Yeah.
is that what you try to recruit?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think our team is great. Our team really is great. Like there's moments every so often where you see it on their face and you're like, "Hey, you got this. They got you." That's where that trust factor and that relationship factor with your basis comes in. But part of recruitment is personality. You want to find people that you think are willing to make the jump or would be willing and open-minded to try things new. But I always say like a good indicator of a good person like that is someone who is one interested in the sport because it means they're willing to take a leap of faith just by trying a new sport, and two, someone that's interested in coming to a place like Hawaii. If you know that they're coming from the mainland all the way out here, they are either adventurous or looking for a change as well. So usually those kind of people that come out here end up being very open-minded and willing to try things.
Well, and we're the only college in Hawaii that offers acrobatics and tumbling, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I have a question that might make your other players a little upset.
Oh no.
But who's the biggest hype person on the team?
Giselle. Is that what you said? Yep, Giselle.
Why, and why?
Personality. I mean, she's just the ball of sunshine.
I think a big thing about Giselle is that she walks the walk, but she can talk the talk, like, because she can do everything.
Yes.
Like, she performs well, and then she's there for her teammates. So I think it's just such a well-rounded athlete to be next to on the mat.
Brings the energy. And this is for all of you guys. What is your proudest moment as a HPU Shark so far? Bree, we can start with you.
Thank you. I think mine was my sophomore year was my proudest moment. We had a couple of rough meets where one of our really key athletes went down with an Achilles injury, and my coach turned to me and was like, "You're doing the solo pass, and you're going to be in comp acro, and you're going to be in all these things that you've been working on the side, but it's your time now, like decide." And being able to perform and actually do what I know I was capable of, that kind of like flipped a switch in my brain that like I'm capable of doing this sport. So I think that's my favorite memory.
Love it. What about you, Hayley?
I would say my proudest moment so far is just being loyal to the sport and kind of being loyal to HPU, sticking it out. Because we have had a few rough years, sophomore and junior year, but I think it's a really good lesson to keep doing what you're doing and don't give up.
And coach, gotta ask you.
Oh man, you're aging me with these questions.
Well, okay, it can be as a coach too, right?
Yeah. Now, there's a couple moments I think just reflecting back though, just since today's theme is like talking about the growth of the sport, where we came from and where our journey started. We were a second-year team with 17 kids on the mat, and big old University of Oregon, #1 team in the nation, 4 national championships came out, and we actually beat them that day. And it was one of those things where we're like, tiny little team, you know what? We sat in that locker room at Kamehameha schools because HPU didn't even have an athletic facility at the time. So that's where, right? That's foundational. That's where we started. And I just remember sitting there with them and we're just hanging out. We're like, you know what? We have nothing to lose. There is absolutely no reason we should be worried right now. We're going to go out there. We're going to do what we do, and we won. So I think that really set the tone for what this program stands for. Is we can be the underdog, we can be the little guy, but at the end of the day, like, we're going to show up and we're going to do exactly what we know how to do.
I love that. That's an amazing memory. When we come back, we'll look what's ahead, their goals this season, what NCAA championship status is unlocks, and what the legacy they want to leave behind. Keep those texts coming in at 808-888-5481. But before we go, Hawaii Pacific University Athletics is sponsored by Pepsi. Create more smiles with every sip and every bite. We'll be right back after the break.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Networks, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Wrapping up today's show with HPU Acrobatics and Tumbling coach Daisha, Bree, and Hayley. Coach, I think we got to touch back on, 1, the mats, 2, how crazy it used to be going from Kamehameha to sometimes Wallow to Radford. Just so people that are listening kind of have like a better understanding of how things really were. Can you?
Yes. So back in the day, quote unquote, back in the day, obviously HPU is an urban campus, and with being an urban campus comes the logistics concerns. And athletics didn't have a home. We didn't have a home for a very long time, and I don't think we had a home until 2019, and that was actually after I graduated. So super happy for everybody else. We did not have that. But we had to get very, very creative, and so did all the other court sports. I mean, basketball was right there with us, women's and men's, volleyball. We all kind of had connections through Hawaii, through the local community. That's how we found spaces to practice. Luckily enough, my old coach Keenan Wan was a Kamehameha alum, so they were so gracious to allow us their practice space when they weren't using it. But if for some reason they had an event or a game, we had to find another place. Sometimes that was Moanalo High School. Sometimes it was, yeah, I said McKinley, Radford, wherever there was a court and it was available for an evening, we were gonna get creative. The coaches were grabbing the U-Haul, rolling mats in, pulling them out, doing whatever it took, really.
That, yeah.
You learn a lot.
And you learn a lot about your teammates real fast, right?
You really do. Yes.
So I want to go back into the NCAA recognition. And now that you guys are championship status coach, have your goals changed? Are they still the same for
Yeah.
this year?
For this year, we're
next year, sorry.
oh, sorry, for next year. Yeah, well, before that, we're obviously just going to keep doing what we're doing. I think we've always, and this is something that's kind of been instructed to us through the NCAA, through those more experienced coaches, those leadership coaches, is that we are always going to operate our acrobatics and tumbling teams and programs until this is consistent throughout the nation, as though we were already NCAA championship status. So from the very beginning, we were following NCAA rules, like following the manual. Like we didn't have to do those things in the beginning before we were an emerging sport, and we did it to prepare ourselves for this moment. So because it's been a long time in the making, we've always been ready and we've always been operating as though we were NCAA status.
Yeah. So when they do have that tournament, I don't know if you know the answer to this. How are they going to be picking the schools? Is it going to be off of, because even us right now, right? We play like D1s and D2s. So how will
Right.
they pick those schools to compete for that?
Yeah, so obviously 2027 will be the first year or the first season that we are that championship sport for that championship tournament. There are still similar to when there was an emerging sport status and they said, hey, you need to get X amount of schools participating and ready to be voted for championship status. There is a requirement for that as far as making divisional championships. As of right now, there is a national tournament that'll be open for everybody, same as kind of what we're doing right now. But essentially, the NCAA has a system, and they've assured us that until the NCAA is ready to take it, the NCAA is acknowledging that NCAA has been running it a certain way for a very long time. It's bracket style. We're competing all throughout the season. They're going to rank teams based off performance, scores, things like that. Top 8 teams go in. Top team comes out. And then when D1, 2, and 3 hit their number threshold of active participants, they'll be able to split off for a divisional national championship.
And do you think you guys do individuals as well, right? Like you
Yes.
can send
Mhm.
girls. Do
Yeah.
you think they'll still be doing that?
Absolutely. So we call it like event national, so it's an event, event finals is what we really call it for the short term. What it is they're taking the top X amount of scores per heat, and you're allowed to compete for that individual heat title. And if you are not in the championship bracket, there's a potential to come in as an at-large qualifier, and they only take the top team from the nation for that one if you're not in that bracket. So you're honestly, even though you're obviously fighting as a team for that all-around score every single time to get into that tournament, it is really important that we emphasize as best scores as possible consistently throughout the year. So in case we don't make it to that tournament as a team, there are still a lot of chances for us to go in as an individual.
Yeah. And Bree and Hayley, for you guys, like, what does this mean for the next generation of Sharks? Like, obviously, you guys won't be able to compete in the NCAA championship, but you guys still have, like how Coach said, the NCAA tournament or championship, whichever. Like, what does it mean for you guys for the next generations of Sharks?
I think I'm really excited for them because it kind of emphasizes the legitimacy and the work that we put into the sport. So maybe a little bit less questioning how demanding our sport is from other athletes. I think that would be a huge thing. Just really being recognized as D1 or D2 NCAA athletes is a huge thing.
Yeah, a lot like Bree said. It's really amazing for these girls because hard work pays off, and I just really hope that they take it all in. And yeah.
And they have an amazing coach to do it.
Before we get out of here today, we did get a few text questions. We also, I want to ask a little bit about this year's schedule, Coach. Some home meetings or some home meets, and then also, what is it, 6 total outings this season?
I believe it's 5. Yeah.
One, when can people come out and support you? Do you know those dates off the top of your head?
I do.
If you could.
February 21st at the Shark Tank, we are going against Azusa Pacific University, also D2 Pac West. So that's a team that, as an HPU Shark, historically speaking, it's always kind of been a thing, right? Every sport has their thing. For us, it's always been APU, just because they are a conference competitor, and it's been like we've always been pretty similar in skill set and like rosters, things like that. So it's a pretty good head-to-head competition there. And then March 25th is our last home meet. It'll be our senior night. It is against the University of Oregon, so that'll be a big one. It'll be fun. As we've said before, we've done it before. We can do it again. We just got to make sure that we're ready for it.
Why not have history repeat itself? You
Why
guys
not?
also have a trip over to the East Coast, I
Yes, we
believe.
do.
You have Kutztown, LIU, Caldwell, and all
Yes.
of them. Could you see the schedule expanding in the future and as soon as potentially next year as you go
Yeah.
into NCAA tournaments or NCAA status?
Yeah, we can hope so. There is a minimum. That's the five competition minimum. We hit the minimum. Part of it is obviously logistics, getting teams that aren't in the conference out to Hawaii. So, I mean, we would love to do more than 2 home competitions. 3 would be great. And then same thing for traveling out. As long as we have the people that are interested in competing against us, we absolutely would.
And then friend of Sharky texts in, Coach, if you happen to meet an AD at a conference and they're looking to add a new sport, what's your quick elevator pitch as to why acro and tumbling should be that sport?
First of all, why not? It's really easy to talk about a sport like this when you have athletes like them, and we've operated the way we do. We just talk about how legitimately we run these programs. We run them the same way any other sport does, and it's a great opportunity for female student athletes. There's a huge population of gymnasts and cheerleaders, acrobats, tumblers, divers, dancers, and you can get them on your campus. We have 28 to 30 spots, sometimes up to 50, and it's like, you guys want the enrollment, we have the roster, and we have quality student athletes, because most kids like this are high performers, perfectionists, and they're going to be really good in their sport, and they're going to be really good in school.
I'm sold. All right,
Perfect.
let's add them.
Awesome.
Quickly for the players, just about a minute left for you guys. What's one thing that you're looking forward to most in your final season competing in acro and tumbling?
I'm excited to have fun and honestly just show up as a leader and really use my voice and build confidence in the underclassmen.
Yeah, I was telling Coach Daisha and Coach Peyton that I'm just honestly here to have fun at this point, that I don't want to take it too seriously, that it's not letting me sleep at night, but I'm just really excited to have fun this year too.
Awesome. Coach, I know it's not your last year, but, is there anything you're looking forward to most this season?
I'm excited to see them succeed. I think they've put in the work, and they deserve and have earned the right to succeed.
I love that answer. What a great thing to lead us on out.
Yeah, and that's a wrap on this week's Shark Weekly. Huge mahalo to Coach Daisha Paulino and seniors Bree and Hayley for joining us. This is a historic time for acrobatics and tumbling, for HPU, and for women's sports everywhere. And we've proud to be a part of this from the beginning. You've been listening to Sharks Weekly, broadcasting live from HPU Esports Arena at Aloha Tower Marketplace, powered by DSE Hawaii on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.